How's it going out there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. In this video we're going to be doing a movie review of a new film that came out a couple weeks ago and is based on a video game series. So we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video or any other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those great places. And also my awesome Patreon page as well. As always, people, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, we're going to be doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a couple weeks ago and is based on a video game series that has been around for quite a while. And that, of course, is the film called Gran Turismo. Yeah, Gran Turismo. Yeah. So Gran Turismo, like I said, came out at the end of August. And like I said, is based on the video game series of the same name. And at the same time, this film is actually based on a true story about a kid that actually played Gran Turismo and actually became a real racer in real life. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take. Like, who would ever thought that this video game series would lead to an actual person become an actual race car driver? Now, this film... It was one of those films I wasn't too sure about at first when I first saw it was coming out. And I was like, this looks okay. I'm going to definitely want to check it out just for the heck of it. It's got a good cast. And I wasn't really, in the know about everything about this film. And once I got into it and actually watched it, it was surprisingly really good. And really blew me away with all the greatness that came from this film. Now, of course, this film happens to be directed none other by a great director who's directed a lot of great films over the years and has a really great eye for action, for cinematography, and just has a really good knack of giving us really cool sci-fi films. And then, of course, is Mr. Neil Blomkamp. Oh, yeah! Neil Blomkamp, yeah! So, Neil Blomkamp, you, of course, might recognize as the director of such films as District 9, Elysium, etc. And he is just a really fantastic director. Pretty much anything he's ever done, I've really enjoyed. And I think he does. He has a really good eye for cinematography, action, sci-fi films, and just an overall great presence as a director. He gives us really solid films with really great stories. And Gran Turismo is no exception to that. And I thought that he took that same amazing directing style and gave us this really well-done biopic type of film. And if you're going in wondering what the film, is about, it definitely is along the lines of a biopic. It's based on the true story. Of course, there's always embellishments. But I think Neil did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us a really solid, based on true story film and giving us pretty much all the real good stuff to know about this in particular individual and kind of his career and how he became to what he was. And I really enjoyed that, all the cinematography that Neil gave us in this film. I mean, the race car scenes were all so well done. And the CGI and the animation throughout the whole entire film was really well done. And even the clips where it shows them kind of stationary for different characters, stuff like that, were still beautiful, and you could see the great landscape in the back. And I just really enjoyed what Neil did with the film and gave us a really solid, action-packed film, but at the same time that focused on a whole bunch of different elements versus, just one particular element, which I feel some films end up doing that sometimes, especially biographies or biopics or anything like that. They tend to do that. Now, if you haven't seen another Neil Blomkamp film, or you just want to check out something else he's done, definitely check out this film that he did, that I think is one of my all-time favorites of his, and I think that he did just a great job with this film, and give us a really solid sci-fi action kind of drama film. And then, of course, the film called Chappie. Yeah, Chappie. Yeah. This movie is absolutely fantastic, starring the awesome Hugh Jackman and a great cast, and it just is a really fantastically done film. The whole concept, the whole idea, basically where this robot, becomes a real person and it has the consciousness of a real person transported into it and or transferred into it. And I just appreciate that whole entire film, and Neil did such a great job with it and giving us a really well-rounded film that has all the great elements you're looking for in a sci-fi film, an action film, a drama film, and just an all-around, just really great cinematic experience with this film. And Neil just nailed it on the tee with this film and giving us this really rock-solid film. If you have not seen Cappy, definitely check it out. Really fun film, really well done, and really well directed by Neil Blomkamp. And like I was saying, overall, I think he did an amazing job with Gran Turismo. I was blown away by this film. I think he did a phenomenal job, and I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen anything Neil Blomkamp has directed recently, go check out Gran Turismo in theaters now. He did a really fantastic job. So this movie doesn't have a huge cast, but a very great small cast that really brought this film to life and just gave us a really enjoyable film. Now, to start us off is none other than kind of the pit boss himself, the head honcho that helps the kid learn to become a racer. And that, of course, is Mr. David Harbour. Oh yeah, David Harbour, woo, David Harbour, yeah! So, of course, David Harbour, you might recognize, of course, from Stranger Things. You might recognize him from a slew of things over the years, little bit parts and stuff like that. And he's just a really phenomenal actor. I really enjoy David Harbour. Pretty much anything he's ever in, I just enjoy him. And I love his persona. I love his characters he brings to life. And you just kind of like him. You kind of love him. You fall in love with his character because he just brings a real genuine characterization to his characters. And he did that once again with his character in Gran Turismo. Now, when it comes to his performance in the film, I absolutely thought it was on point, fantastic. I really enjoyed everything he brought to it. I love the elements that he brought to it, especially the dramatic elements, which he had some really great speeches throughout the film that really resonated and just were really well done and constructed. And, you know, you can't always just give the credit to the actors themselves, but the writing too in this film was so well done, and David did just such a great job of delivering those lines and delivering that script and giving us a really solid performance as well. He just was really fantastic in this film. Now, if you're looking for something else to see David Harbour in that you might not have seen yet, or just want to watch something else with him, there's a great film that he made that I don't think gets enough credit for how fun of a film and remake it was. And then, of course, the film called Hellboy. Yeah, Hellboy. So a lot of people, of course, remember Ron Perlman as Hellboy with Hellboy 1 and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. But in 2019, 2018, I think it was around, David Harbour actually stepped into the suit and became Hellboy himself. And I absolutely loved his iteration of Hellboy. This film was really well done. I love the bad guy in it. I love the whole concept of it. And I thought that they did a good job of bringing the source material that these are based off of and give us a really great new twist on it versus what we've seen from the Ron Perlman films. And I think that David did such a great job of playing Hellboy, and you just really enjoyed his, presentation of it, and you enjoyed like what he brought to it, the humor, the drama, the action, everything he brought to it. It was just a really fantastic new rendition of Hellboy himself. If you haven't seen him in anything recently, definitely check him out in Hellboy. He did a really fantastic job with that film. But overall, I thought he was dynamic, he was amazing in Gran Turismo, and I just think a really enjoyable performance. If you have not seen Gran Turismo yet, definitely go check it out now for David Harbour's performance. He was excellent in it. So that brings me to the final actor I like to talk about that was in this film. And that, of course, is none other than the mastermind behind creating the Gran Turismo school that his character is based on. And that, of course, is Mr. Orlando Bloom. Oh, yeah, Orlando Bloom, yeah! So Orlando Bloom plays that character in this film. He's actually technically he's loosely based on the guy that created the Gran Turismo, school that the real-life guy ended up going to. And I thought Orlando Bloom was really good in this. I hadn't seen him in anything in a really long time. And it was just fun to see him play a really great role. And, I loved him as Will Turner, of course, and the Pirates of the Caribbean. I loved him in a slew of other films over the years. And I think he just did a really good job, in those films, but also brought some of that talent to what he brought in Gran Turismo. I liked his passion. I liked his elements of how he worked throughout the film. I liked how he was kind, but at the same time, he was annoyed when things didn't go his way. And I liked how Orlando brought that to life and gave us a really great kind of representation of maybe who this guy was and how good of a job I think he played and how well he worked with everyone in the film. Now, if you're a huge Orlando Bloom fan, you might have seen all of his movies, but if you haven't, definitely check out one of his best films, I think, to date, besides The Lord of the Rings. It's a great 2004 film that is also based on historic events called Troy. Yeah, Troy. Yeah. Yeah, even though he plays kind of a whiny character in the film, I absolutely loved what he brought to his Prince character. I thought he did a great job and, worked so well with Brad Pitt, so well with all the other actors in the film. And just overall, he gave us just a really well-rounded performance in that film that I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he was. And I enjoyed that he kind of played kind of the sniveling coward type of character, because a lot of those guys back in those times, they were, some of them were like that, because they only knew luxury. They didn't know what it was like to rule and to do things because their forefathers did it, and they actually did it, and they happened to just come into it already with all this power. And I think that Orlando did a great job of bringing that to some sort of reality at that time for a person that would be dealing with the situation he was in. And I just thought he did a really fantastic job. If you haven't seen anything Orlando Bloom's been in, definitely check him out on Troy. He did a phenomenal job in that film. And overall, I just really enjoyed him in Gran Turismo. I think he did a fantastic job, and I loved his relationship with David Harbour, with the main kid, and just overall, I liked him in the film, and I thought he was a really great element to the film. If you haven't seen Orlando Bloom in anything recently, go check him out in Gran Turismo now. He was really superb in it. Just want to give an honorable mention to the great Digimon Huzan in this film. He plays the main character's father in the film, and he is really fantastic in it. I really enjoyed him in it. I really liked what he brought to the character, and I loved a lot of the emotions he brought, and how you really felt like he really was sad and upset when certain things happened, and you could feel like he really did love his son, and I thought Digimon did a great job with that. And of course, if you haven't seen Digimon or anything, definitely check him out in Guardians of the Galaxy, check him out in Captain Marvel 1, you check him out in Amistad, which is one of his best films ever, I feel. Such a great film. And pretty much anything else he is. Blood Diamond. He's been in a ton of films over the years and just a really fantastic character actor. If you haven't seen him, definitely check him out in something. I just wanted to throw out that, about him. He's a really fantastic, and he was also a great addition to this film. Now, what is Gran Turismo about? Basically, the premise of Gran Turismo is it's telling you the life of this particular character that he ends up being one of the best Gran Turismo character players ever, and basically he ends up getting into a contest that allows him to compete to be a part of a real racing experience that Orlando Bloom's character has provided, that he wants to take these fake racers and turn them into real racers in real life, and that Gran Turismo itself, the game, is really a great teacher and great tool to make real racing in real life. And basically it's about Jan's journey and going from playing PlayStation Gran Turismo to being a real racer in real life, and all kind of the things that happened to him in his first couple years of racing, leading up to him placing in one of the races he ends up doing. It's a really fantastically done film. I was really impressed by it. It was action-packed, it was fun, it was enjoyable, there was no lag in it, it was all just superly done, and it felt like a real entertainment film to me again. And I actually felt like I came out of that movie feeling fantastic and wonderful, and wanting more from that film. It just was such a well-done film. And there's so many great scenes in this film. I mean, the action sequences with some of the racing are so well done, especially some of the crashes. Of course, you see in the film, or even in the trailer itself, you see one of the crash sequences happen where one of the race cars go flying into the side of one place. You get to see some great images where Jan is basically exercising, getting the shape for the academy. We see a lot of great scenes where he's racing. We see all kinds of just fun things going on. His relationships with different characters. We get some really great scenes with David Harbour, with Lana Bloom, Digimon Huzon, and other characters throughout the film. They're just really fun, and overall it's just a really well done film. If you have not seen it yet, definitely highly recommend. Go check it out. In theaters now. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up. Definitely going to be adding this to the collection. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any older new vision but not seen it yet. As always, people, if you want to show support for the channel, definitely check out my Patreon page, people, where you can get all kinds of great extra accoutrement you don't get here on my regular channel on YouTube. So definitely check that out, people. It's fun stuff. As always, people, catch you in the next one.